Shalom, shalom, Kahala Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh, Israel. I've been waiting to do this one for a while. Just gonna start off by saying all praise to Yahweh. This whole identity thing and these people like Chris and unlearned niggas still calling us Amorites. I'm gonna do my best to dispel that one. And for all the people who say I'm just some Google warrior and internet warrior, I'm gonna show you something. I've been had this book, right? I'm gonna show you. Who do you see in there? Amorites, right? Okay. But it's something that we need to get understood first. Let's get this understood. I took the liberty of writing this out. And I think it's going to become so much easier if we explain this in this manner. When we deal with the word Jew, it's any practicing non-bloodline Israelite. That's all that word Jew means. It's not a bloodline. It's any practicing non-bloodline Israelite, but they are trying to practice the heritage. Judean, anyone living in Judah, non-Israelite descent, can be considered a Judean. A person who is of the bloodline of Judah would be a Judite. A Judean is anyone living in Judah, non-Israelite. We just discussed a Judite is an Israelite or / a Yasharite living in Judah or from the tribe of Judah. The Babylonians did not make or force the strangers to go home. I want y'all to keep that in your mind. All right. So with that, we'll move on to the next one. Now, it's a few things we need to get understood, and we're going to show this. So we're going to start off with the oldest group that we're dealing with, which is going to be the Amorites. In today's time, they don't go by this name anymore. Well, they never did anyway, for the most part. The closer name that you can track to them is Amorites. Don't focus on Arab right now. But Amorites are who you know as the Amorites. Okay? And we're going to show you who these people become. Some people are going to be offended behind this. I can't worry about that. But I want you to keep this in your mind. And we're going to show you how these people tie in. So Amorites, right? So first thing we need to deal with. Let's deal with this. Let's deal with this real quick. Okay, no. And, oh yeah. Let's just make sure we put that up there real quick too. All right. So, with that being said, let's get into this. This is Amorites, a brief history. So we won't need to hear no more than about the first minute of it, right? So this is Amorites, a brief history. Let's just start 34.
Heard of Hammurabi or Shamsi-Adad I. In this short video, I want to go through some more details about the Amorites so that you have some more context for future videos. So who were the Amorites? As I mentioned earlier, they're nomads who originated in the lands of ancient Canaan, Palestine, and what is now northwestern Syria. Over time, they essentially migrated into Mesopotamia between the 2nd and 3rd millenniums BCE. It's believed that they had a pretty sophisticated culture, as well as cities of their own. For example,
as well as cities of their own. Let's listen to some of these cities.
the cities of Elba, Hamath, and Kutna.
He said Elba, Hamath, and Kutna. Let's get that one more time. Make sure we get this witness right.
For example, the cities of Elba, Hamath, and Kutna. For example, the cities of Elba, Hamath, and Kutna.
So Elba, Hamath, and Kutna are Amorite cities. Where do we know these places from? Let's check. Let's check into that real quick. All right. We go to 2 Kings, chapter number 17, verse 24. And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon and Cutha and Ava and from Hamath. Now, who are the people from those places?
For example, the cities of Elba, Hamath, and Kutna.
Okay. The king of Assyria brought men from Babylon. You know, he brought, who did he bring from Babylon? Amorites. Okay. From these three cities that were all from Amorites. And from Hamath and from Sepharvaim. Let's keep that name. Excuse me. And from Sepharvaim. So those cities are the, excuse me, one more time as a witness.
It's believed that they had a pretty sophisticated culture, as well as cities of their own. For example, the cities of Elba, Hamath, and Kutna.
Elba, Hamath, and Kutna. All right. So for anybody who's lost, I definitely highly instruct you to go read. Let's just get 23. Until Yahweh removed Israel out of his sight, and he had said, by all of this service, the prophets, so was Israel carried away out of their own land to Assyria until this day. And the king of Assyria, you know, the same one who switched the people out, brought men from Babylon and Cutha and Ava and Hamath and from Sepharvaim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel. And they possessed Samaria to dwell in the cities therefore. Now who are these people? Let's get some origin. Let's get some origin on these people. All right. When you want to find, you're going to see Sippar. Now, what is Sippar? Sippar is the place of the Sepharvaim. Let's get on. Let's get Sippar a little bit. It says Sippar, Sumerian, was an ancient Near Eastern, Sumerian, and later Babylonian city of the east bank of the Euphrates River until it is located at the site of the modern Tel Abu Habah near Yusufaf in Iraq, Baghdad, governorate some 60 kilometers north of Babylon, some 60 kilometers north of Babylon, 30 kilometers southwest of Baghdad, and the city's ancient name is Sippar. Could also refer to the sister city of Sippar, Anam. Let's go down. Let's go down. Because sometimes you got to keep reading. What does it say right here? Sippar has sometimes been suggested at the location of the biblical Sepharvaim. Okay, so this is, wait. So this is the same place. These, all praise to Yahweh, I hope y'all caught that. The biblical Sepharvaim are Amorites. who came from these cities that the king of Assyria has placed. Cutha, Ava, Hamath, Sepharvites, same people. And let's prove, because remember, these people came from Babylon, right? So watch. So let's go back to the scriptures. Going to be a little bit around the place. So let's jump down. Let's jump down. Verse number 2 Kings chapter 17, starting verse 29. Howbeit every nation made gods of their own, and put them in the houses of the high places. And the Samaritans had made every nation in their cities wherein they dwelt. And the men of Babylon made Succoth Banath, and the men of Cuth, men of Cuth, same place. Excuse me. Cuth made Narjul, and the men of Hamath made Ashma. So what are these? Narjul, Ashma. What are these? Let's go up. These are Babylonian gods. Narjul, you see that? We're not going to go and find all them names that we just found, but I'm showing you. These Amorites will be worshiping Babylonian gods. Because why? One more time. If you're not catching this, let's go back to Sipper. Because the Sepharvim are the Amorites, and they are the Babylonian scribes. This is what Sipper is. Sipper is a book town. That's what this place is known for. You study it, you look it up yourself. This is a book town. Despite the fact that thousands of cuneiform clay tablets were recovered at the site, relatively little is known about the history of Sipper, as often the case in Mesopotamia was a part of a pair of cities separated by a river. Sipper was on the east side of the Euphrates, while her sister Sipper Anam, the western day Tel Aviv, was on the west. It says pottery find indicates that the site Sipper was an early Uruk period. It says substantial occupation occurred in the early dynastic period of the 3rd millennium BC of the old Babylonian, Nimrod. Yes, these are Amorites. And yes, they go back to the time of Nimrod, because the Amorites would already be a nation before Israel was ever mentioned. This is facts, not fiction. Okay? So the Amorites are the Sepharvim, and they are the Babylonian scribes. And if you want a little bit of get back, the Babylonian scribes today, the Sepharvim, the Amorites, also known as the Sepharvim, would be the only people that could trace to the Tower of Babel. These are and responsible for all of Babylon's history and gods, and can trace themselves back to the Tower of Babel. Y'all think it's a joke? Remember, these people, for some odd reason, they love and know how to read all the Salaki. They know how to read all the cuneiform. You know why? Because they was writing it back then. It's the same people. Now I'm going to show y'all something that's get interesting with these people. So we say, okay, well, what does that have to do with anything? Well, I want to show you something. When you go to Isaiah, we go to Isaiah 36. Now these people Excuse me. Excuse me. Isaiah 36 and 19. Where are the gods of Hamath? Where are the gods of, where are the gods of Hamath? Where are the gods of Hamath and Arphad? Where are the gods of the Sepharavim? The Amorites? And they have delivered Samaria out of my hand. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Isaiah 37. So Isaiah 37. Where is the king of Hamath, the king of Arphad, and the king of the city? The king of the city of the Sepharavim. I'm going to show y'all what's interesting. Now, we do know Hezekiah. Now, remember, this is Isaiah 36 and 37, so Hezekiah is alive in this time, right? But I'm going to show y'all something that's crazy. When you go to 2 Chronicles, and you go to chapter number 30, and you go to chapter number 30, and you go down here, and I want you to please pay attention, because this is the Passover, and Hezekiah goes and prays, so everybody can attend the Passover, right? But here's the kicker, though. Then the priests, the Levites, arose and blessed the people in their voices and their prayers. I'm sorry. 2 Chronicles chapter 30, verse 25. And all the congregation of Judah and the priests and the Levites and all the congregation that came out of Israel and the strangers that came out of the land of Israel that dwelt in Judah and rejoiced. Remember, what we went over, and Hezekiah sent to all Israel and Judah and wrote letters to Ephraim and Manasseh. See, this is the thing. This is what I'm trying to make clear. These people would still be in the land under Hezekiah, and Hezekiah prayed for everybody to come to the Passover. They would have came to the Passover because they would be, you wouldn't see their name now in 2 Chronicles. What they're going to do is they're going to be under the strangers because they would still be in the land. See, they didn't have to go home. And that's one thing I'm definitely trying to point out is that when these people got into the land, when the Babylonians came to fight us, to attack us, they didn't make them go home. They would still be in the land. And if anybody thinks, oh, okay. Let me show y'all. Jeremiah chapter 40, verses number 11. Likewise, when all the Jews that were in Moab and among the Ammonites and in Edom that were in all the countries heard that the king of Babylon had left a remnant of Judah and that he had set over them Gedaliah and the son of Achim and the son of Shaphan, even all the Jews returned out of all the places whither they had been driven, and they came to the land of Judah, at Gilgal, and unto Mizpah, and gathered wine and to the summer fruits very much. See? All the people. And who would be with them? The older group, the Amorites. See, when we fled, I don't think y'all understand this. When we fled into Egypt from the Chaldeans, these people didn't have to go nowhere. They stayed right there, y'all. And look, and just for anybody, that's going to be Jeremiah 41, verse number 18. because of the Chaldeans, for they were afraid of them, because Ishmael son of Nathan and slain Galal and Elakim, and who the king of Babylon made governor of the land. I'm sorry, verse number 17. And they departed and dwelt in the habitation of Chinham, which is in Bethlehem, to go to enter Egypt because of the Chaldeans. I told y'all we fled into Africa. We fled into Africa for fighting the Chaldeans. And we've shown this many times at this point, but we just have to continue to keep on doing this so Israel can definitely understand. Go to 2 Kings. Go to 2 Kings, chapter 25. This is going to start to make sense in just a minute. Go to 2 Kings, chapter number 25. The pots and the shovels. Okay. And all 2 Kings, chapter 25, verse number 26, and all the people, both small and great, and the captains of all the armies arose and came to Egypt, for they were afraid of the Chaldeans. For they were afraid of the Chaldeans. 2 Kings, chapter number 25, verse number 26. All right. With that being said, so now the veil has been pulled. The Amorites, all the people from those lands, who was put back in our land, they was put back in our land in the time of Isaiah. But they would still be in our land all the way up until the time of Jeremiah. They wouldn't flee. We fled. They would still be there. Now, y'all know y'all going to say, well, why is this important and what are you trying to lead up to? Let's get some of this stuff out the way. Excuse me. Salaki. Let's get some of this stuff out the way. So, now that we know, now let's take a good look at who these people might be. So, and I'm going to prove to y'all, we're going to continue to prove to y'all that the other people would not get their start until Assyria, and I'm going to show you why. So, we just hit with your Sephardic Jews, right? And I want you to peep game. So please look at what it says. It says, get that off the screen, so it says Sephardic Jews, Hispanic Jews, Sepharim. It says Jews of Spain, Spanish, Portuguese, Judaism, originally from Sepharad, Sepharad. You see that name? I want you to keep that. It says originally from Sepharad, Spain, Portugal. They're not originally from there. That's a lie. It says they established communities throughout areas in modern Spain, Portugal, and traditionally resided, evolving, which would be the distinctive characters of the diasporic identity, which means they fled from war. Diasporic identity, which took them in their exile from Iberia in the beginning late 15th century of North Africa, Anatolia. I want y'all to keep that in your mind. So these people would have fled. They would have had to get up out of Turkey, right? That's where some of these people went, right? So let's get some witnesses, right? So let's get, I have to put this in my man inbox. So I want y'all to see this. This is a map of 800 AD, right? Who do you see in Spain? The Amorite. But who was the Amorite? Who was the Amorite? The Amorite is the Sepharim. Amorite. It's the same people, y'all. And they're in Spain in 800 AD. And I know y'all, some guys like, man, that's bullshit, man. This dude he done flipped this whole wig over, y'all. Like, okay, I want you to see this. How Jewish are Latinos?
The Reconquista and Inquisition had an enormous impact on the modern populations of Iberia, North Africa, various other European countries, and of course, almost the entirety of the New World. As I discussed in an older video, following the collapse of the Germanic kingdoms in North Africa, the North African Muslims, consisting of Arabs and native Arabized Berbers, known as...
See that? Amorites. Now, who are the Amorites? They're the Sub-Saharans. They're Amorites. Yes, that's them in Spain. And in this video that I pulled up, and it says, how Jewish are Latinos? They're the Sephardists. Just the children, more or less. If y'all really want to get this. And just like I just showed you, 800 AD. Now these are the Amorites, right? Amorites. So let's jump back around real quick. Now, from what we just shown, right? Now let's go back. Now remember, the word Jew is any practicing non-Israelite, right? So look right here. They didn't hide it. Jewish history. They didn't hide it at all. Jewish history is the history of the Jews and their nation, religion, and culture. Please pay attention, y'all. And it is developed and interacted with other people, religions, and cultures. Although Judaism is a religion that first appears in Greek, yeah, because they're the same people. It says records during the Hellenistic period, 323 to 331. No, 31, I'm sorry. It says, and the earliest mention of, now pay attention, y'all. The earliest mention of Israel is inscribed at the Menete Step. Okay, we know that's facts. Dated to 1213, 1203 BC. Religious literature tells the story of the Israelites going back at least to 1500 BC. Now watch this. The Jewish diaspora began with Assyria. Think about it, man. It's telling you these people got their start in Assyria, not us. We was already established. They get their start in Assyria. Now, for anybody who wants a little bit more drop on that, please, I highly suggest you go back and look at this video I have called October 19th. I use this format and I show and I line it up with the dates that Assyria falls in 612 BC. Babylon falls in 616 BC. The original Babylon, they come back as these new people. And then think 526, Babylon and the Chaldea rule. Now, we forgot, sorry, who is the Chaldean army would be Ashkenazi. Because remember, I told you you're dealing with two different groups. This is the older group. This group would not be practicing, but they both would inherit our covenant again through Assyria. Just as it tells you right here on the screen. Think about it. Israelites didn't go into Assyria and become Jewish. That's not what it's telling you. Israelites was already established. These people got their start in Assyria. I highly suggest you go into that video October 19th. That's going to explain a whole lot of stuff about that. But anyway, let's keep going. So now we know that the Sephardists would be the same people. Would be the conquistadors, right? If you don't believe that, I got something real smooth for you. Here you go. Remember this guy? Ferdinand III, right? Ferdinand III, right? Holy Roman Empire. Okay. Okay. Well, what was on Ferdinand's tomb? Ferdinand III. What was on his tomb? You see that? Ferdinand III. Who was he? Ferdinand III was an Amorite. Separate. Don't bullshit yourself. You know what that is. Especially look at the bottom. Excuse me, so I can look at the bottom. Y'all know what that is. Yeah, shit gonna get thick for all these people calling us Amorites. They clearly are lost. Because it tells you that it's wrote in Arabic and Abray. But who else would be writing like this? These people would know how to write like this. I'm gonna prove that. Some people want to call it Phoenician. Yes, the Amorites did not have their own writing. No, they spoke Semitic. They spoke the Shemitic language, but they would go into Babylon and write cuneiform. Because who are they? They are the people from Cyprus. Right? Now I want to give you, so let's go ahead, let's continue to show that these people have clearly admitted, let me find that again, they clearly admitted, now I'm going to read that again, 1500 BC, the Jewish diaspora began with the Assyrian captivity and continued on a much larger scale with the Babylonian captivity. Well, we know that's a lie because me and the brothers have already smashed that we done already proved that the lost tribes thing is a myth, that we would have been returning already. And I'm going to show you what comes out of Babylon that's real famous. It is called the Talmud, right? Jewish, Babylonian, Aramaic, right? Now watch me show you something real special. I ain't got to go through it. I ain't reading shit on it. But we know for a fact that comes out of Babylon. You got a lot of people, well, the Jews, the Israelites wrote that when they was in Babylon. No, it wasn't us. It was them. I'm going to prove it. They wrote that in Babylon because they was assuming to be your identity when they know they wasn't you. So, let me get a witness. A good piece of information. I want you to read that real carefully. This is a special section of the Talmud, Tosef Shab, and you get the Roman numerals, Bob Shab, 77, I guess that's a page, 67. Sequence is devoted to the various superstitions called the ways of the Amorites. You see that? The Amorites, a set pair of them. That's who wrote the Talmud, not us. Those are Amorites, y'all. And these dumb niggas like Chris, oh, these people died a long time ago. No, they didn't, man. No, they didn't. They just changed their name. You see that? And remember, who was that for? Latinos. They owe us kinfolks. Okay, here. I know it's going to hurt some people. I'm sorry. You see that? Growth rate. Sephardic Jews expelled from North Africa. Estimated Jews today. But this is related to the who you call Latinos. This is their blood group. And they are all from Sephardic Jews. Yeah, I know it's getting hard to breathe. I know it's getting hard to breathe. And I already done showed you one of their famous people, Ferdinand. He would be a Sephardic. Oh, you think that's a joke? Okay, wait. Wait. Ferdinand. Where is that at? Where I put that at? Jewish history. Sylvester Babylonian thing. This is for everybody. I want you to see this. Now, it says Spain's historical office of citizenship. You see that? Spain's attempt to atone for 5,000 years of sin. Bullshit. Pure bullshit. It says expulsion gave Jews a start choice. Covert, depart, or die. But the thing is, they sealed a covenant with these people. It says but Christopher Columbus, he was a Sephardi Jew. I know it get hard. I know. It says the country is offering citizenship to Jews and families it expelled and it says deportation Jews before Ferdinand and Isabella. Themselves, y'all don't believe it, they was Sephardi Jews themselves. Oh, okay. And who does that make them? Amorites. The fuck is so hard for you to understand about this? These people are Amorites, y'all. And they have covenants made. They have public covenants made at that time for all the people who could track themselves back to that bloodline. Okay, and let's go ahead. Let's look at this real quick. Because a lot of people say, well, how did Ashkenazi get in? Well, Ashkenazi got in because Ashkenazi would be the army for Chaldea at the same time that we fall. And this is going to be Jeremiah 51, verse 27. I'm going to read this clearly. Set up a standard, Jeremiah 51:27. Set up a standard in the land, blow the trumpet among the nations, prepare the nations against her, call together to her the kingdoms, Arat, Mini, and Ashkenaz. Appoint a captain against her, and the horses come up as rough caterpillars. See, in Jeremiah, when we abandon the covenant to these Babylonian scribe people, Ashkenazi would have been the army of Chaldea. The Sephardims are the Babylonian scribes, who are known as the Amorites. Okay? I'll show you something that gets real interesting. Hold on, let me make sure I find this. Make sure I find this correctly. Okay. Oh, okay, that's why I had them pulled up. Okay, I'm going to show y'all something. This is going to get wild. Okay. So we just showed you that Ferdinand III, he's a Sephardi, right? Now it says Holy Roman Empire, Ferdinand, but he ain't no fucking Roman. I just showed you who this guy was. But I'm going to show you something more interesting. Look who it says he's taking a war, and I'm going to show you how they hide history right in front of your face. It says, after 1648, the emperor was engaged in carrying out terms of a treaty ridding Germany of foreign soldiery. In 1656, he sent the army into Italy to assist Spain in her struggle with France, and he had concluded an alliance with Poland. Check his aggressions against Charles X of Sweden, and he died April 1657. Try to keep them dates in your mind. I'm going to keep that on screen. Let me keep that on screen. This is the 1600s. 1648 to 1657, right? See, these are wars. Ferdinand is involved with wars, taking the ridding Germany of foreign soldiery, right? So who is Germany at that time? So you go to this book, The Negro Question, and all we got to start doing is looking for those dates. Looking for those dates. Barbados, 1635. Now remember, this is when these people are starting to be took to war by the, excuse me, one more time, they're starting to be took to war by the Amorites, Ferdinand. Separa. I'm going to prove that to you because it just clearly shows you right here on screen. Slovakia. Terms of a treaty and ridding Germany of foreign soldiery in 1656. Well, what's happening? See, this has all been recorded. What's what it says? Remember, the Irish were black in the 1600s. So that's these people being took to war. If you look at her face in comparison. These are the same people being took to war. And y'all not understanding that these books, this book is literally the recording of the war. And we got took to war with us. I want to find something that's going to solidify that as, excuse me. 1641, Irish Rebellion. Whoa. I don't think, whoa. Dang it. Forgive me. Let me find that page. I just had it right. Ships left. Okay, this book is kind of brutal. But I'm going to show you something. Now, remember those dates, right? Because in this book, it shows who would be the king at that time. Come on, don't fuck around. There you go. Look at that. 1640. You see that? 1640. $1677. These Amorites are taking these people to war. Timeline, 1681. This is the same time frame. This is roughly. Okay. Now look at what it says. What documents? Look at that one. Realize all colored people. Civilized. Shows how these black Germans. I know, sorry. Look at this. It says Benjamin Franklin's essay describes that Italians, Spanish, Germans, French, Russians, Swedes being black. Then this is, you see that, around the 1700s. And we show you in the 1640, we're showing you that's when these people are being overthrown. These people are all being overthrown by who? Separatists. This can't be that hard, y'all. So, in the closing of this, Chris has no fucking clothes on. Lex has no understanding. He has no understanding, no light at all. And we'll get to that one on another one. Well, one more time. One more time.
BCE. It's believed that they had a pretty sophisticated culture as well as cities of their own. For example, the cities of Elba, Hamath, and Kutna were
Elba, Hamath, and Kutna. Kutna, Alva, Hamath. Don't y'all understand who these people are? Canaanites. These are Amorites and Canaanites. You don't believe that? Gotta check on your Genesis 10. Before we end this, let's get a quick one. Let's get a quick one. Because I showed you Hamath, right? Where do you find Hamath at? Go to Genesis 10. Excuse me. Verse number 17. The Hivite, the Archite, the Sunite, the Arvadite, the Zermite, the Hamathite. You see that? Kala, Ava, Hamath, Sepharvim. These are the Amorites. Ashkenazi is the Chaldean army. The Amorites are the Sepharvim are the Babylonian scribes. None of these people had to go home when we fled into Africa to escape the Chaldeans. So when Chris says that we're the Amorites, he's beyond wrong. And I don't think I have nothing else to say. And that's for everybody who think I'm just on this Google warrior shit, like it ain't really what it is. The Amorites would have moved into these places long before we was even born. The king of Assyria puts them, if you pay attention, what is that? Sipper. Ha ha ha, what is that? That's the scribe towns. When the king of Assyria was against us, he took us, placed us up here in this region. He took these people, placed them down in our land. What more do we got to say? And guess what? They never went home. This is why you hear these people today. We can trace ourselves back to something BC when we was living in the land. I know, because you're these people. You're the Amorites and Ashkenazi. And for anybody who don't understand, that's all that be about in the Bible. That's literally all that is. But the way it's been rolled up, it's hard to understand that, because when we left to flee into Egypt, they would have got into our heritage. Not so much these people, but these people. The ones who are responsible for Babylon's history and their gods. Remember, the Amorites were alive in the time of Nimrod. There was no Israelite walking the earth. These people are much older than us. And through the studying of their Babylonian gods of destruction, this is how they learn how to fuck you up. But I ain't going to continue to ramble. All I'm going to tell you to do is look into this for yourself. And the one thing I definitely want to make sure we know is that these people did not have to go home when we fled into Egypt, getting away from the Chaldean army. So one last time, Ashkenazi is the Chaldean army. The Amorites are the Sepharvims. They are the Babylonian scribes from Sipper. I want to say all praises to Yahweh, Kahala Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh, Shalom.